Terrifying moments captured on video there of the impact of a 7.0 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Northern California yesterday. It marked the largest quake to hit that area in more than 3 decades, and it was followed by more than 30 aftershocks.
It all started happening. Everything from the shelves fell down, and the lights started going, and people fell down.
We heard about the 7.0. We said, well, this is serious. We might want to go ahead and evacuate. Put everything up high, the electronics, and we got the dog, and we got out of there.
Yeah, this earthquake also prompted some towns in low-lying areas to evacuate because of its tsunami warning that was later canceled. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt. No major reports of damage, although authorities will be checking out the area throughout the day today because the 7.0, that is a significant earthquake, and so it's pretty incredible to not see significant damage or injuries out of something like that.
I guess it was offshore.
Offshore.
And
still, something that strong. I mean, I remember I lived in Vegas when Ridgecrest, California had a 7-point-something, and we felt it in Vegas 300 miles away. Mm-hmm. So you would think that...
Yeah, you're talking Sacramento area, Bay Area, even south, probably Santa Barbara feeling it. It's huge. We know what a 6.0 feels like, and it went all the way to Boston. People in Boston felt it, so you can imagine. All right, we got a little bit of snow here this week, but nothing compared to communities in upstate New York. And take a look at Pennsylvania, where volunteers in Erie County, they answered the call to help out first responders after heavy snowfall nearly collapsed the roof of their firehouse here. Members of the Coast Guard, National Guard, and other personnel, they joined together to remove all that snow.
And the great news for us, no snow here in New York City, but the sanitation department is not taking any chances this winter. The search already on for emergency snow shovelers. Right now, shovelers would be called to work after heavy snowfalls to clear snow and ice from bus stops, crosswalks, and fire hydrants. They got about $18 an hour to start, but the pay bumps up to nearly $28 an hour if you work more than 40 hours in a week. If they're working more than 40 hours in a week, that means we have gotten too much snow.
Too much. We had some flakes yesterday, and I'm telling you, I was out there reporting yesterday, and I was rethinking my life. I was out there, and I'm seeing snowflakes, I'm like, what am I doing?
But it was pretty. It was
nice. Hey, listen, it is nice, but
frigid. And today is so cold as that wind continues. No significant snow on the 7-day. Maybe a few flakes flying by tomorrow night. But after that, we actually see a pattern flip that warms our temperatures up, which means a few rounds of rain coming on the 7-day. Today, we expect to stay mostly dry, but bitter cold out there. Air temperature at 31. A beautiful live look outside. It looks sunny and gorgeous, but that is deceptive because these temperatures are very, very cold. We're at or slightly below the freezing mark for the city, just above freezing for Rockaway Beach, but 32 for the Whitestone and Gravesend, 32 on Staten Island, up in the Bronx, 30 for Fordham. We're looking at 34 in Newark, 31 for Trenton and Central Park, 30 in Poughkeepsie and White Plains, 33 for Islip. But we have this gusty wind. It's not quite as intense as yesterday, where our gust speeds were right around 40 miles per hour, although we're seeing that in Newburgh, close to it at least. Today, those gust speeds generally between 30 and 35, so not quite as intense as yesterday, but with colder temperatures, it feels brutal. Our wind chills right now are in the teens and 20s, and this is where wind chill will stay for the bulk of the day. This is what you have to dress for as you head out the door. It's what your body's reading, and it is very uncomfortably cold. Feels like 13 in Newburgh, feels like 17 in White Plains, 19 for Morristown and Somerville. Somerville feels like 20 in the park right now. Satellite and radar, the satellite's mostly clear. Radar picking up on maybe a couple flurries out there, and the potential for that is there with just some of this lake effect snow drifting into portions of the Catskills. But in general, today we expect mostly dry conditions under a mix of sun and clouds. Now, we do have that pattern change that brings the return of rain chances next week, and that is a good thing because I want to show you the drought monitor. It's still a huge story across the tri-state area with that extreme drought for central and south Jersey and the severe drought for so much of our area. So it's encouraging to see these rain chances ramping up for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. Also encouraging to know that our temperatures warm up enough that it will be rain rather than snow, but for the next few days, mostly dry and very, very cold. Today, mix of sun and clouds as our high temperatures only climb close to the freezing mark. So much of the area caps it at freezing today, feeling colder than that thanks to the wind. As we head into tonight, a partly cloudy sky takes us into tomorrow morning. We'll wake up to 20s for most of the tri-state, but some teens in terms of air temperature well north and west, and again feeling like teens for much of us because of the wind. Tomorrow afternoon, not quite as harsh as our highs are back in the upper 30s under a mix of sun and clouds, but it is still cool. It's still breezy, just not quite as intensely cold tomorrow. Do want to mention tomorrow night we'll get an increase in cloud cover and maybe a few snowflakes drifting through parts of the area with that next York's Clipper system. But Sunday, we're back to mostly dry conditions as we become more mild. Our highs are back in the 40s on Sunday, and that's when this pattern change is introduced. We'll get a round of rain moving into midday Monday, and from there, rounds of rain off and on for the first half of next week. But our temperatures will be milder, so we do expect mainly a rain event rather than snow. Today, big weather story is the gusty wind, right? You see gusts 30 to 35 miles per hour through this afternoon, backing off a bit into tonight, and that means the wind chill temperatures are going to be so cold. You see the mix of sun and clouds, and it feeling like 20s in the city today, even though actual air temperature will be in the 30s. So it is a big difference in terms of what we feel versus what air temperature actually reads. So today, very cold and blustery, wind chills in the teens and 20s. Tonight, frigid again, partly cloudy, a bit of a breeze. That means it feels like teens. And then tomorrow, we're starting to move in the right direction. It's still breezy, still cold, but not quite as harsh. And then Sunday, Monday, you're seeing highs in the upper 40s. We're back to the 50s, in fact, Tuesday and Wednesday as the rain chances continue.
Okay. Again, we need the rain.
We need the rain.
It is December. That's why it's cold.
Yes.
And if you need to get out of the cold, this next story is for you, and it may be one of my favorite stories of the day. A dynamic dino now on display in Manhattan.